15,000 years ago, the world stood on the edge of transformation. The Ice Age was loosening its grip, glaciers retreating slowly northward, reshaping the land and exposing vast open plains where grasslands stretched farther than the eye could see. These landscapes looked empty from a distance, but they were anything but safe. They were hunting grounds ruled not only by mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and dire wolves, but also by a creature that modern humans would never expect to fear, a towering, flightless bird descended from ancient ostrich-like giants, built for speed, aggression, and lethal force. Early humans lived in a fragile balance with this world. They were not rulers of nature yet. They were observers, learners, and survivors, moving in small bands, carrying little more than stone tools, wooden spears, and the knowledge passed down through stories and scars. Every day was an experiment in survival. Every unfamiliar shadow could mean death. And among the most terrifying encounters they faced was with the giant ostrich ancestors that dominated the open land with terrifying confidence. These birds were nothing like the ostriches we know today, standing over 3 meters tall, with powerful legs thicker than a human torso. They were built like living weapons. Their bones were dense, their muscles coiled for explosive movement, and their kicks could shatter bone with a single strike. Each foot ended in massive clawed toes, capable of slashing or crushing. Their long necks gave them wide vision across the plains, and their eyes, sharp and alert, missed very little. Where humans relied on planning and cooperation, these birds relied on raw physical dominance and instinct refined by millions of years of evolution. For early humans, the open plains were both opportunity and danger. The grasslands provided visibility, edible plants, and herds of grazing animals, but they also left little room to hide. Trees were sparse, rocks were scattered, but not always close enough to offer protection. In this environment, speed could be more deadly than strength, and few creatures were faster than the giant ostrich ancestors. A human caught alone, away from shelter, stood almost no chance in a direct confrontation. Encounters rarely began with immediate violence. Often they started with tension, a distant silhouette across the horizon, a shape moving unnaturally fast. Early humans learned to read these signs instinctively. A bird standing tall, neck raised, feathers tight against its body, meant alertness. Rapid pacing signaled agitation. A sudden change in direction could mean the bird had locked onto a target. These visual cues became part of survival intelligence, as vital as fire or stone tools. When confrontation became unavoidable, fear took physical form. The ground trembled under heavy steps. Dust rose with each stride of the charging bird. The sound of its movement was not a roar, but a deep, rhythmic pounding that grew louder with terrifying speed. Unlike predators that stalked silently, this creature announced itself through motion alone. It did not sneak, it overwhelmed. Early humans understood one crucial truth: they could not outrun it. Even the fastest human sprint was meaningless against a creature evolved to cross open land at extreme speed. Survival depended on something else entirely: coordination, terrain awareness, and the ability to turn intelligence into advantage within seconds. Groups mattered. A lone human was vulnerable, but a coordinated band could confuse, distract, and survive. Hunters used sound, movement, and positioning to manipulate the bird's instincts, shouting, waving hides, throwing stones not to injure but to redirect attention. The goal was never dominance, it was escape. Every movement was calculated to keep distance from those lethal legs. The landscape itself became a weapon: shallow ravines, uneven ground, clusters of rocks, places where a massive running bird risked injury if it moved carelessly. Humans learned to guide the chase without appearing to do so, drawing the bird toward terrain that favored human agility over brute force. A stumble for the bird could mean damaged tendons, a death sentence in the wild. For humans, it meant survival. There were moments when escape failed, when the encounter turned violent at close range. In these moments, the raw brutality of the Ice Age world revealed itself. A single kick from the bird could kill instantly. Bones shattered, organs crushed, bodies flung aside like broken tools. Archaeological evidence suggests that many early human injuries were consistent with blunt force trauma far beyond what smaller predators could cause. Some of these injuries healed, meaning the human survived. Others did not. Yet humans were not defenseless. Spears hardened by fire, stone-tipped javelins, and heavy clubs could injure the bird if used with precision and timing. The legs were the target, not the body. Bringing down such a creature required disabling its greatest strength. Even then, the risk was immense. One mistake meant death. But desperation often forced humans into confrontation when food was scarce and survival demanded risk. The giant ostrich ancestors were not mindless beasts. They reacted, adapted, and learned. Birds that survived encounters with humans became more cautious, more aggressive, or more territorial. This created a dangerous cycle. As human populations slowly expanded, encounters became more frequent, and the plains grew increasingly hostile. Each side was locked in an evolutionary standoff shaped by pressure and adaptation. Children learned fear early. Stories were told around fires of the running giants, warnings encoded in myth and memory. These stories taught young humans where not to wander, how to read the land, and why staying together mattered. Fear became education. Survival became culture. As the Ice Age neared its end, the world changed rapidly. Warmer climates altered vegetation, grasslands shifted, human technology improved. Better tools, more efficient hunting strategies, and deeper understanding of animal behavior tipped a balance. The giant ostrich ancestors, once rulers of the plains, found their territories shrinking and their numbers declining. Eggs were stolen, young were vulnerable, adults faced increasing pressure from coordinated human groups. Eventually, the deadly encounters that once defined survival became rare. The birds faded into extinction, leaving behind only fossils, broken eggshells, and echoes of fear embedded in human memory. What survived was the lesson. Humans did not win through strength, they won through intelligence, cooperation, and the ability to adapt faster than any creature they faced. 15,000 years ago, survival was not guaranteed by dominance, but by awareness. The fight between early humans and the giant ostrich ancestors was not just a clash of species, it was a test of what it meant to endure in a world that offered no mercy. In those open plains, where speed decided fate and instinct met intelligence, humanity learned its earliest truth. The most dangerous enemy was not the strongest or the fastest, but the one that failed to adapt. And it was adaptation that carried humans forward, out of the Ice Age, into a world they would eventually reshape forever.